Bada bing bada.
Hi.
Hello. Happy Juneteenth.
Happy Juneteenth.
It is Juneteenth, the day we're recording. And you know what? I feel like more jobs should recognize Juneteenth.
Agreed.
People get off for
fair.
President's Day. Like a fair amount of people. Labor Day over
Mhm.
Juneteenth. Like that doesn't feel right.
No.
Yeah, I'm really loving your sign-in name, Phenomenon.
Yeah.
And I can't believe I said that. I think I said that right.
I think you did too. Yeah. Phenomenon. Just say it really fast. And whatever comes out is correct. Have you listened to that song?
Yes, I love
Okay.
it. Yeah, I've listened to Sabrina Carpenter and Chappell Roan this week. And I've just been
Nice.
loving all of it.
Incredible.
Phenomenon is actually one of my more favorite songs.
Yeah.
And then I like the Supernova one.
Red Wine Supernova is incredible. Yeah.
There was like a slower one that I liked a lot, and I don't remember the name of it. Pretty much all
My
of them,
Kink is
though.
Karma. That one's like one of my favorites.
I think that's it. Yeah.
And Pink Pony Club. I was almost Pink Pony Club was almost my name.
Oh, that would have been good too. Yeah. I'm still I'm kind of like bound to this alliteration thing at this point. Like,
right.
I've jumped on the train. The train's left the station. I don't think I can stop it.
And Tori is jumping jalapenos today. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I almost said jalapenos.
I was going to say you could also say jalapenos if you really want to hear the alliteration.
Yeah.
Updates this week.
You said you continued your Sabrina Carpenter journey. What are your top songs?
So I like Please, Please, Please.
I haven't listened to Sabrina Carpenter as much as I've listened to Chappell Roan.
Same. I like Feather a lot too. Espresso, good. People are crazy about. I'm not that crazy over espresso.
Really?
I'm not. Yeah. I don't know. It's just a little too.
It's very like boppy and trendy.
It's too pop synth for me, I think.
Yeah.
And it doesn't really have like a build up like I want in a song, I feel like.
I still would really like to have a country version of Please, Please, Please.
Just she put out the acoustic one today. I haven't listened to it.
I haven't listened.
I think she did. Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Speaking of Sabrina Carpenter, she does a cover, or she just did a cover of Good Luck Babe by Chappell Roan. To quote Birdie, she said like she's doing God's work.
So what's going on this week? We had Father's Day. Happy Father's Day to all the men out there listening to our podcast. I think there's been one or two ever. Happy Father's Day.
My boys have been at their grandparents' house since Sunday. So on Father's Day, we met to have dinner, and then they were like, let us, take them for a few days and, have some summer fun and just hang out and give you guys a break. And it has been super weird, and I don't know what to do with myself. And they're coming home tomorrow, thank God. So they're doing a ton of swimming, and they've done a bunch of fun little outings and stuff. So they've had a good time.
Yeah. So
go ahead.
Have you heard about the women in Congress kind of going at each other lately?
The ladies have been beefing. Yeah. Yeah. It's intense.
It is. My goodness. Wow. Going at the eyelashes comment though, like that's too far.
But then it was like
baby girl.
Girl, baby girl.
Yeah.
Nothing good follows girl, baby girl. Baby girl. Nothing good follows baby girl. Okay. But especially girl, baby girl.
Girl, baby girl.
Baby girl.
Oh.
I love AOC.
Me too.
She's so good. I almost swallowed a fly today. So we have been very avid gardeners for the last few months.
So much basil.
A lot of basil. A lot of basil.
That's awesome.
We have a lot of plants, and so we've been going outside a lot. And we kind of go outside a lot anyway just because we have dogs. So we're kind of always in and out. And we have a sliding glass door. The flies just be coming in our house. Okay.
Been there.
And I was drinking out of one of these cups.
Looks pretty well protected.
You would think, but
so
the
to describe
straw,
the cup, it's like a Stanley cup, pretty much.
Probably
It's got
not sure.
the lid on it. The only way into the cup is the straw.
And yes, the fly is just the perfect size to fit in that straw. I don't know if you can see the thickness of the straw, but it's a decent sized straw. It's one of the things I like about the cup is the straw. Okay? I don't know that I trust this cup anymore. I think it was just stuck in the straw and I inhaled and I immediately knew what it was, right? Because like the fly thing we've all been annoyed by the flies, okay? And I immediately spit it out. So I didn't swallow it, but it was in my mouth for a second. And
always so startling when something you weren't expecting ends up in your mouth. So Amber just sent me a Instagram reel that Hannah Berner's going to have a special on Netflix, and I'm so excited. Wine review. So I have a red wine this week, going back to my roots.
Love it. Love it. That seems more Tori to me. That was my dog shaking. Jesus Christ.
This one is called 7 Deadly Cab, and there's a Z. I would think it should be a 7, and maybe it is a 7, and then there's a line. It looks like a Z, and I thought, Z, that's a strange choice.
Just thinking of Zorro.
Yeah. Like, is that the brand name? I don't know. It says 7 Deadly Cab, but I see a Z. So some marketing confusion here. So at your marketers, Z, I don't even know what to call it. It does taste good though. I do like the taste. It's a 2021.
Good year.
The word Lodi is written on the bottle here, and I'm not exactly sure if that is maybe a place that this came from or who knows what else.
Just
but
a
that
random piece of information.
That word is on here, yeah. So there's that. And it's a cab. Cabernet. I'm not even gonna say the last word. It's just a Cabernet. Or cab.
To the surprise of absolutely no one, I am drinking the same wine I always drink.
Oh, we've got the same one?
As per usual. But I decided to switch it up, and you might have noticed this is not a wine glass. It's actually a goblet. So I was just feeling a little fancy, and so I put it in this goblet of fire, if you will.
It's giving elf.
Yeah.
Like majestic elf, not like Santa's little helper. I'm giving mine an 8.5 out of 10. I think that's my highest rated yet. Yeah. How about you?
I'm sticking with a 10.
We're going 10 out of 10.
It's pretty much always a 10, yeah.
Cool. So, how do we feel about restaurants that yell at you when you come in? And I'm talking about the Moe's, the Cold Stones. Does Mellow Mushroom do that? I think they do. Boston Market.
I'm really trying to rack my brain because I've been to a Mellow Mushroom, not recently, but in the last year. Yeah, I'm definitely not a fan of the screaming at you when you walk in the door. Like, it's just like you're automatically like, oh no,
it's startling. Yeah. Like it kind of,
it's a good way to get punched in the face. Like, I hope you're not close to the door.
Sometimes it makes me just kind of want to turn around and leave. Like, it's why are you yelling at me the second I walk in? Like,
yeah, like I don't need to be here. And
I'm gonna have to approach you too. Like, when I get to you, you can say something along those lines. Why do you need to scream it at me from so far away? I don't like that.
That's a good point. It also feels similarly. I don't really love in restaurants when they sing you happy birthday.
Yeah, you may as well just like bring a saddle to my table and make me get on it while you're singing me happy birthday, like they do at Texas Roadhouse. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. It's just an experience that 9.5 times out of 10, the person experiencing it didn't ask for it.
Yes.
Right.
Right.
Yeah. Because you don't go to a restaurant and like.
Yeah, actually, I did not consent.
Never consented to this.
And it sucks because I want to tip you, but then you do that.
Achieve, do you think? What are there has to be a reason that these are such strong
Someone thought it was gimmicky, I think, at some point, and they're like, "Oh, they'll remember us for that, and they'll bring their family because it's fun." Mm-mm.
Yeah. Well, I'm just thinking of there's this Netflix show called Tires, and it's
Okay.
kind of ridiculous. But we've watched a few episodes of it, and it's similar humor to Party Down. Actually, that's
Oh,
how Birdie described it to me when she
okay.
said to watch it. Okay, so it's about these guys who work at a tire shop, and they have other friends who work in the tire industry at other tire shops who are obnoxious and like come over to their shop, and they're like, "Oh, did you see our latest commercial?" And the commercial is just the guys like being obnoxiously loud and like kind of ridiculous. And they
Mm-hmm.
were like, "Yeah, we hated it." And it was awful. And they're like, "Yeah, but you can't stop thinking about it, can you?" Like it's so awful, you just can't stop thinking about it. So it's like, is that the goal, Code Stone? You're like, we're gonna give them some ice cream and they're gonna hate songs.
Maybe, but they can't stop thinking about and then they're gonna have PTSD.
Yeah.
That's why now us, because our parents thought it was so cute, they
Mm-mm.
brought us,
No, I
and
never
now we
thought it
are
was cute.
like, we're all introverts now.
Yeah. Well, and especially our kids, like they grew up in they're the COVID generation.
Oh
They
gosh,
are
yeah.
already not sure how to interact socially. So can you imagine them going into a cold stone?
Oh gosh.
Mm-mm.
Oh, that's too much. Yeah, you
No.
can't ask that of children.
Yeah, and my kid says things he's not supposed to really loud, so I feel like he would walk in there and say something to make everyone uncomfortable about their song. So maybe that's what we do. We just
Is
take in
that the oldest or the
the
youngest?
youngest. And it's like out of pure, like not even um
Totally innocent.
totally
Yeah.
1000% innocent, just like pure honesty. Like he just can't help but be honest. Like, whoa, that was fucking weird. Like if he could drop the F-bomb, that's probably what he would say when we've never gone to a Cold Stone. I don't even know if there is one where we live.
I'm not gonna lie, since we've been talking about it so much, I kind of
Sounds
want
kind of good.
some. I
Yeah,
kind
it
of
sounds
want
kind of great.
some.
Yeah. But also Publix makes great ice cream, so I am probably not going to go out of my way to find Cold Stone, but
True.
it does, yeah, you're right. It sounds good, but
Mm-hmm.
um we hate the fucking songs. I
Yeah,
guess I do
stop
have strong
singing.
feelings on this. That's fair.
So funny text. I have 3 this week. This one is between Amber and I. So the first text from the other person to me says, "Also, what does boof coffee mean?" I am not familiar. And I said, LMAO, boofing is in intaking substances through the butthole for maximum absorption.
It's a great
Um,
definition.
and Amber said, LMFAO, stop. And I said, like, you get more drunk if you put alcohol up your butt than if you drink it, which apparently is true.
Yeah.
Probably not worth it, if I would think.
Right. I have
In my
heard of
opinion.
people doing this. I just did not know that there was a word for it.
Okay. And then Amber replied, "Boofing coffee," with the little skull emoji. And I said, "No, seriously," with the little laughing emoji. And then Amber said, "How have I never known this word? There are no boofing gifts."
There's not.
And then I said, "Lamp." And Amber said, "I did look, though," talking about the gifts still.
Yeah.
And then I corrected my lamp to LMAO. But Amber was already typing out couch, which she sent at about the same time. And then I said, "No, that's porn." So this is like kind of our conversation there's like 3 different conversations in the same one. I'm saying, "No, that's porn," to the boofin gifts. Like, of course, those won't be in there because it's pretty much porn. And then Amber's saying couch because I said lamp. And then Amber says, "Okay, we're not just throwing out random words." And that was the end of that little chain of
I'm so glad
texts.
you shared that, and I can't believe I didn't save that
One of
wasn't
these
in my
days,
list.
I feel like we're gonna have the same text.
Well, okay, so one on my list you might have.
Okay.
And so I'll share that one first. So this is actually from a group text with all familiar faces. So it's Tori and I, and then it's Shoshana, Sam, and Alicia. And the gals were chatting, and Sam said, "My holy trinity right now is Dolly, the Father, Chappelle Roan, the Son, and Taylor is the Holy Spirit." And I just was like,
Yes.
like the best text I had ever seen. Immediately screenshotted that.
Yes, and I'm so glad you did because I meant to, and I think I forgot to, and I totally forgot until you just
Nice.
reread that, and so I'm so glad that you did because
It
that.
was so shareable. Like,
Okay, so my next one. Okay, this is I think this is just something we've referenced on the pod before, so I included it, but I said just listen to that song too, talking about Red Wine Supernova. Um and I said the bad in After Midnight. So this also ties into one of our lists. I think at one point I said that I cannot send it's a toxic trait. I can't send one text message thought without a typo. So we already saw Lamp earlier. Now we have the bad in After Midnight, and then I said nope, base. So I meant to say the base in After Midnight. And then Amber replied with LMAO, Suri is an asshole as per usual. And I think we've mentioned how we just call her Suri now.
yeah.
So I just wanted to include that as like a little example of
Yeah.
the Suri usage. She is just Suri to us.
She is Suri, and if you'll note in that text, Suri's capitalized because in my phone that's how she does it. You know, when she's being a bitch like she normally is.
Mm-hmm. But then we thank her.
It's shouty caps. I know, it's a fine line.
Yeah.
It's a real fine line with the AI.
We do appreciate you, Suri.
Yes. But I hate you. I hate you forever. So
yeah,
there's that. And I'm just speaking for myself.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, my next text is from Tori. And I'm not going to share the full thread. I'm just going to share a little snippet. But we were talking about how we were tired of something. And I just sent like the sleeping emoji. And that's it. And just expected her to know that I was saying like I'm getting tired, not like I'm sleeping or something
like you were
literal.
getting tired of the thing.
Yes.
Right? Yeah.
Yes. And Tori responded with "Simpacito, girly." And the funny thing is that she thinks that she wrote simpatico, but she in fact did write simpacito. Like,
no, this time I was aware.
Okay, so you did spell it wrong on purpose. Okay.
Yes, yeah.
So I wasn't sure. I thought it was not intentional, and I just thought it was so out of touch of you that I was like immediately.
Actually, Suri tried to correct it to simpatico, and I said Suri.
No, Suri, I'm trying to spell this wrong.
But thank you for your service, but it is wrong.
Thank you for your service.
So my next one, this is from Anonymous, and a friend sent this one to me. Def not on the bingo card, the Google Calendar, or even the realm of freaky possibilities, which has some real doozies on it. And I just like that one.
That's great.
Sometimes
That's
you
gold.
kind of get like, startled or like, whoa, where'd that come from?
Shocking. Life is shocking.
And
yeah.
This explains it well. I like it. Consumptions. Bridgerton. So I will say I like the first 4 episodes a lot more than the last 4.
Yeah.
I didn't have as many notes on the last 4. I will say when Penelope lost her virginity with Colin, now why did he have to jab her like that so swiftly? Like,
and he's supposed to be experienced.
Right. This isn't really a rip the Band-Aid off type of situation, I don't think.
No. And also, like, I thought this scene was actually a little bit odd because it felt out of character for Colin.
Yeah.
I feel like he's such a rule follower that I was actually really surprised that they slept together before they got married.
Yeah.
It just didn't seem like the right character development.
Yeah, it's like they're doing it for the plot and not like staying true to the characters.
Correct.
Because they wanted to do it for the plot so that he still felt like he had to marry her after finding out about the Whistledown thing.
Yeah.
Because then he's tied in. So yeah, I agree with you. It did feel a bit out of character for him.
Yeah.
I felt like it was the last 4 episodes were just kind of predictable, which at first I think was a little bit annoying to me, and then I remembered, like, this is Bridgerton, like, it's literally never been like, a cinematic masterpiece, like,
No,
it's
it's good because of the things like the music and the way they combine the art of what they're wearing. It's
Mhm.
very much, some of it's correct for the time, but some of it's actual just art.
Yeah,
So
like, the
I think,
hair pieces are wild and
yes,
the sleeves,
Cressida's
some
sleeves get just bigger and bigger each episode, and you're like, does she have a whole house under there? I think that's a house holding up one sleeve. I think there are starting to be some differences in the show and the books. I'm not
Okay,
well informed about this, but
but
do
let's
you
get
know what?
into it.
But let's get into it. Do you know in the last episode, they're at Penelope's sister's ball, and Francesca and Eloise are talking, and Eloise says she wants to go to Scotland
Yeah,
with Francesca and Lord Kilmartin. And then you meet Lord Kilmartin's, I think, cousin. I think she's his cousin or some, maybe sister, some family member. You
okay.
meet just briefly. And Francesca kind of gazes, like, is just kind of staring at her in a way that would indicate to the viewer that, Francesca might be interested in
Yeah.
her. So I guess in the book, that character is played by a man.
Oh, interesting.
Yes. So apparently they're going to be an important character from what I
Mhm.
gather. Again,
Okay.
I've only read the first book, so I don't know any of this.
Right.
But it's caused like somewhat, I mean, I've definitely seen posts online about people complaining because I guess this person is a big part of her story. So how does it change her story?
Mm.
Um, I think the main thing that I saw, because I was like, why that's so cool that they're making it a woman instead of a man.
Right.
Why would we not encourage that inclusiveness? But I guess what I'm assuming is that in the books, she might have gotten pregnant by this character and had a miscarriage. Um,
Oh,
and so
okay.
obviously that's not possible if she has a physical relationship with a woman.
Right, right.
Um, that's what I gathered. Again, I am out of touch
Interesting.
and I didn't read very far into it.
A
Um,
good shallow deep dive.
yeah, I read like 3 comments. So,
Yeah. No,
but
that's
people
great.
seemed genuinely perplexed by it. So I thought it was interesting because we always talk about what we really love about Bridgerton too is the inclusivity
Yeah.
throughout the characters.
I did really love Cressida's storyline and Eloise's.
Yeah, I thought they were really interesting. I actually, one of my notes was that I have an unpopular opinion, and that's that I think they should give Cressida a redemption arc.
Mhm.
Um,
I feel
so
like
many
they will.
people, I think so too. I expected to see it this season, I guess.
Mhm.
Um, I did also really like the pairing of Eloise and Cressida, but it's so funny because Eloise is such a halfway friend to Cressida the whole season. Like Cressida's like, I am about to get an arranged marriage with this awful old man, and
Yeah.
Eloise is just like, can you believe Penelope?
Right.
It's just like
Yeah.
a girl, like she's about to be auctioned off to the oldest man in the town, and
Mm.
you're just over here like pissed off at Penelope. Stop.
Yeah.
And especially because Cressida was a good friend to Eloise. Like she might not have
Mhm.
been the best person, but you got to see her be a good friend to Eloise the whole
Yeah.
season. Um, so I think that might be part of her redemption arc too.
Mhm.
I was just like kind of bummed to see Eloise discard her so easily. Um,
Yeah, but I don't know. I felt that way as well. But like also I guess I kind of understood because like the talking about the family thing.
right.
But still, yeah, you're right. Like she should have known that like her mom had put her up to it or she's trying to get out of like a sticky situation or something like
Right.
that. Cuz like Penelope had said things too about them and had been forgiven.
Right. And that's the
So,
thing. They gave so many people, so many other people got redemption arcs. Like Eloise's character
mhm.
in the last season, she had her scandal and everyone forgave her and moved on. And, I just, I think there have been other people that have been given redemption arcs, so I hope Cressida gets one because I think she's a super interesting character.
Mm-hmm.
I saw something online that I don't remember the reasoning behind it, but they were saying a similar thing, and they also said that they could see Cressida ending up with Benedict. Okay. Which I thought would be interesting. Yeah. I actually really loved Benedict's storyline with what's the lady's name?
I don't know, but I know who you're talking about.
Yes, she's fantastic. Yeah. Again, I just really like that they show a range. You know, she's not the same age as him. She's a widow. So I just really like to see how they intertwine everybody's stories like that. It's cool.
Yeah, and it was cool too to see like a woman like being single and enjoying it like in those times too. That's also like very inclusive compared to what it was actually like back then.
Right.
The whole Francesca being gay thing at the end, right over my head. I think I probably wasn't, I was kind of bored at that point, and I think I kept getting distracted, and I was talking to a coworker friend of mine today about Bridgerton too, and she mentioned that to me, and I was like, wait a minute, what happened? And then you just mentioned it and explained it. So
yeah, and
so Love Island, I'll let you take the lead on this. I very much agree with this first point.
Yeah, first of all, what the fuck is the schedule? When are we getting content? But also, thank you for so much content. Thank you to the content gods. Like,
it is a lot. Yeah.
In Chaperone, we Chapel?
Yeah, that's a new one.
That's not Chappelle.
That's a new one.
That's like Chappelle and Chapel put together. What did I even say?
You said Chapel. I believe.
It's like Scrapple and Chappelle Roan put together. Delicious. I love Scrapple. That's disgusting. I don't know if you've ever had it, but it's really gross.
Scrabble?
Scrapple.
Like the game?
No.
I thought you were saying
it's
game.
A mystery meat.
Nope, that's actually unappealing. I will
comes
say.
in a can.
Nope. That's only tuna.
I don't know if that's true.
Fair enough.
I'm actually not sure what it comes in.
Fair enough.
I've only ever ordered it at a restaurant in the Virginia called the Naughty Pine.
Okay. Was it good?
Yeah, I loved it, but it's disgusting. Like what it actually is disgusting.
Like a hot dog.
Correct.
Okay.
Yep.
Gotcha.
But probably more gross. It's like more gross than a Vienna sausage.
Whoa. Okay.
That's the reaction, yeah. But it's tasty. It's like sausage, but it's not.
I don't like it. I don't think, my first reaction, like instinct to this is retraction. Like just How do we feel about Scrapple? Not great. Not great.
Well, you have to Google what it is first, and then we can use that. Don't Google it now.
Okay. All right. I was going in. Okay. I'll take your word, though.
Love your preparation. You're like, I will Google it.
Okay. So, yeah, the content schedule is crazy.
It's crazy.
But I will say somehow I'm caught up.
Yes, I am. I've been binging it for the last 2 days to get caught up because I thought it was just like once or twice a week. I didn't realize it was every fucking day. It's a real commitment, to be honest. But yeah, it's really good so far. They played this game, The Vacation Vixens or something like that.
Yeah.
It was insane. It was like everyone had amnesia and they were just making all the wrong decisions, like pissing each other off. And then afterwards they were like, oh, that was the wrong decision. It's like, girl, yeah.
It was crazy.
You're coupled up and you chose to go for somebody else. Like,
you're talking about Kaylor, right?
Kaylor and Hannah both did that. And Hannah really was already in the doghouse.
Yeah.
With
Kendall.
Kendall. Yeah. So she's like already in the doghouse with Kendall, like just made him this apology breakfast and
Yeah,
then
what are you guys doing?
turn around and kiss this guy. Like, it's so weird. But right before they play this game, then they're like running over to play it, and Kaylor does the worm
Really well.
extremely well. And I was just like, that's noteworthy how well she just did the worm.
No, it really was. Yeah, I was like, wait, I had to. I think I rewound it.
The best part is that she's coupled up with Aaron, who's this Englishman, and I'm just like wondering, what does he think when he sees something like that? Is he like, that's hilarious? Or is it like, that's a crazy American doing the worm?
Yeah.
Like, is the worm a thing everywhere?
Good question. Yeah.
Yeah. Does
To our
it stand the
UK
test
listeners,
of geography?
yeah, our UK listeners, let us know. We do have some UK listeners, so
Oh, okay.
yeah.
There we
So
go. Chime in. But yeah, everybody was making stupid decisions. It was like Freaky Friday watching them play that game.
the kiss too with Hannah and was it Hakeem?
Yeah, Hakeem, like, it didn't even work out for you, girl. Like, you just fell, and he didn't even seem like he was into it by then.
Not at all. Yeah, and
he was like over it.
She like fell, and then she goes, "I'm drowning," and the water's just
a little much. Also, like, they need to chill out on that waterfall because everybody went under it at some point, like, to kiss somebody, and they all looked like they were gonna like get brain damage from how hard the water was coming out of them.
Turn it down. They did.
Just like completely blown away. Like, it wasn't sexy at all for any of them. Once they got under the water, it was like, this is ruined.
You could see like the men too would pick up all the women, and like you can see once they get under it, like their backs just start like going down more and more because they're being pushed so hard.
Yeah, the pressure of the water is so bad. You know who probably could have handled that test was the guy that got kicked off, who was like 6'8" or something.
Yeah, he probably would have. Yeah,
I could have handled that. I really love Serena. I think she is one of probably my favorite girl in the house. She's just very genuine and real. And I really respect that she told Cordell how she was feeling, just very straight up. She was like, I think this is not working for me. I can feel myself getting aggravated and annoyed by him. And so she just tells him straight up. And I thought they both handled it so respectfully. And he was like, I don't, you can't force it. And I wouldn't want you to do that. And it actually seemed like he was listening to what she was saying for the first time ever. Yeah. He was actually hearing the words that were coming out of her mouth. Cause you could definitely see where she was coming from, that like he was just trying to like say what he thought she wanted to hear in most of their conversations. And I think he was still just nervous and trying to get to know her. And so too, just being a yes man to like be accommodating.
Right. But it didn't really give her enough.
No.
Of his like real personality. Yeah.
No. Yeah. And I also thought it was hilarious when the new bombshells came into the villa, and it's during like their lingerie party or whatever. So all of the couples are either blindfolded or handcuffed. And then the bombshells come out, and so they're instructed to kiss the guys that they are interested in. And one of them comes over to kiss Cordell, and Serena's right next to him, and he's blindfolded. She's not. She's handcuffed, and she's just like scooting over as far as she can, but she has this like huge smile on her face, and she's just like, I'm so happy for him. Like, she's like genuinely like, oh, like rooting him on. I thought that was hilarious.
I do like her a lot too.
Yeah, she's great. Yeah.
So pretty much from here on out, the rest of the notes are about Rob. This guy's fucking weird. And I think in our last episode, I said he gives me the ick, and I don't know why.
I thought that there was a chance that I would like him, and that he just like has a way of saying things that rubs people the wrong way. You know, like just the type of person to like always put their foot in their mouth type of situation.
Yeah, I wasn't sure yet at that point.
But it sealed the deal. He's the worst.
He's absolutely the worst. So the whole thing, like, even before what we have on our notes here, the whole thing with him and Leah, and then him and what is that? Liv, yeah, was so strange, and I'm surprised that Leah wasn't more upset about it, because she was very clearly like being hidden away from the other girl, and could see he would like hide Leah from Liv, but not Liv from Leah. Right. And it seemed like his whole MO from the beginning is to be playing more than one girl at once, I've noticed.
That's true.
Yeah. But he's trying to play it from like a stupid, almost like weaponized incompetence like perspective. But it's like, I see you, Rob. I feel like you've done this 1,000 times in your real life.
Yeah, definitely.
You just can't help yourself.
Yeah.
Gross. So I have on here, I knew Rob was a slime ball. Telling the other couple not to say anything about them kissing on the date was so... First of all, like, they didn't even see Rob.
Right, they were actually just enjoying their date. Yeah. They weren't even paying attention. So if he just didn't say anything, it wouldn't have gotten back to her anyway.
Like, panicked and like yelled at them almost, and they're like, what? Like, what are you talking about, dude?
Yeah.
Didn't even see anything. What are you doing over there?
Yeah, now I'm curious.
Right. So strange.
So Rob and Leah have that conversation where Rob tells her that he did kiss the other girl and like talks about their date a little bit. And then and Leah doesn't freak out. She's just like, okay, when he tells her that they kissed, and he's like, oh my gosh, you're so cool. Like, you're so cool. It was weird.
So weird. Like, what do you even say to that?
Right.
I just back away slowly at that point. I'm like, these are strange characteristics.
It's weird that you are like excited. Like, he seemed visibly excited that she was so okay with that. Almost like he was thinking, what else can I get away with?
Yeah. Ugh.
If I can get away with this.
I hate this guy. The spider scene. The spider just started crawling on him, and then it was a jumping spider, jumped onto his face, and he's just like trying to like hold this like stone cold
red flag. He's a red flag. He's a walking red flag. Like, he's got a spider crawling on him. The spiders like him, okay?
Spiders.
I've seen Harry Potter. Like, it's
no.
It's gonna be a no. It's gonna be a no.
So then when him and Leah talk again, he's like starts crying, and he's like, I liked you so much, you're so great. And it seems like he's like going to rebut the things that he said, and then all of a sudden he switches into, but I don't think you're right for me.
It's like he was searching for an out, and he found one that wasn't quite right, but he went with it anyway. Like, he when he got upset like that, it felt very much manipulative to me. Mm-hmm. It felt forced. It didn't feel like he was genuinely feeling those emotions, and just that was coming out. Yeah. It was, I am going to let these emotions say whatever I can't, because I'm trying to get out of this situation.
And then he's like goes into we haven't been in like a good sexual groove or something, but it's like he's making out with her and like clearly having no problems like doing sexual things with her.
Yeah. Well, and the funny thing is that what I respected about Leah and Rob is that they were kind of weird, odd pairing, but they seemed to have an intellectual connection. One that most people probably wouldn't understand, that it's just like the two of them get it, right? But then him with this new girl, it's like all they have is a sexual connection. Like, what have they talked about that they actually are similar on, or have things in common? Like, he and Leah actually had things in common, and they actually did seem to strangely fit pretty well together when he wasn't being a complete asshat.
And even when he was,
she was very, very calm about it, I think, compared to how I would handle that kind of situation, or I think how most women would handle that type of situation. She was really chill.
Yeah, No, honestly. Then after they have that conversation, he's like being all emotional and like strange, continuing a strange behavior. He pencil dives into the pool and
Very dramatic.
and then there's like this like overhang part of the pool, like it overhangs where the water is, but you can like kind of go up under it.
Right.
And he swims up under there and just like disappears. And then like some of the guys are like, where did he go? Probably worried about him because he's upset and just jumped in the pool.
Right.
And then I think it's just because he's crying and trying to not cry on camera. But
I do think he was trying to shield his emotions. I think that scene might have been a little bit more genuine, but I still think it was attention seeking. Like the way he went into the pool.
Like just go in the bathroom or be raw and vulnerable on this reality TV show that you got on. But like,
right.
Hiding in the pool is like kind of it can be alarming to other people. Like you just disappeared underwater. Like, where are you?
Well, yeah, to me, it was confusing. Like, is he trying to hurt himself in this moment? Like, because you couldn't quite tell, like, if there was space where his head was at. And it took me a moment I was like, is he underwater or is it just open space and you can't see it because of the angle of the camera?
Right.
It's funny because when I was a kid, I spent a lot of time at the river with my dad. You know that. We went fishing all the time. And there were multiple places that we would go. And some places were better fishing and some places were better swimming spots. And there was this one place called Low Water Bridge. And it is exactly what it sounds like. It is a bridge that's very like right over top of the water, right over top of the river, and it connects these two mountains. And it's actually quite sketchy. But when you're in the middle of the bridge, when you look out either way, you're in the middle of the river. So it's a really beautiful spot. And you can swim under the bridge to get to the other side. But there's not a lot of space because the bridge is literally right over top the water. Right. And when I would get pissed off at my siblings or my dad, for whatever reason, I would go under the bridge and cry. Oh. Actually, when you pointed this out, I was like, he's low water bridging.
So this is just a coping mechanism. Okay.
I think it's actually a coping mechanism. Albeit it's a weird one.
I rescind my judgment. I take it back.
I don't know if that's the right comparison, but it's just what I was reminded of. Like, yeah, I remember going under that bridge and just being pissed off.
He's low water bridging.
Yeah, he's low water bridging.
I love it.
I love when Leah's upset and Serena just comes right to her side and is comforting her and is just like an excellent friend and really just sealed home for me that I am obsessed with Serena. But she says to Leah, I swear you better not let that motherfucking man make you feel like you aren't the sexiest bitch.
Yes.
And it's just like snaps
I love
for
that.
Serena. That was great.
I think it was that same conversation too when Leah like says how she feels so strange now because like, and I feel like she almost feels like physically taken advantage of. Like she was partaking in like, it's not like they were having sex or anything, but they were like being intimate somewhat. And then he like all of a sudden flips the script on her and is like, the chemistry wasn't there. Like, what?
It's giving Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. You flipped the script because a new person came into the house that caught your fancy, and the way you treated your existing partner was trash.
Absolute trash.
Throughout the episodes, they kept referring to something as soul ties.
Yeah.
And I was like, what? I thought it was like some deep, intimate connection. Like, oh, you guys are soul ties. Like, I thought it meant like we've been on the show since the beginning or something. Like it had a deeper meaning. It's that section in the house, the little bed that's like up on the porch.
Yeah.
I didn't know what that was. And they kept saying like at one point they were like, are they in soul ties? And I was like, damn, they're in soul ties? Like thinking like somebody's connection was deeper than it is. And it's like, no, that's just geographically they are in soul ties. Right. Favorite part of the show so far though is Serena and Leah sleeping in soul ties. Because like I want to know why nobody did that from the beginning anyway. You're in fucking Fiji. Why aren't you sleeping outside on the porch?
I wonder if the bugs are bad.
Well, there was one part where Cordell mentions to one of the new girls, like, oh yeah, the bugs do be bugging. Like there are bugs.
No.
So probably not great.
Yeah.
But better than sleeping next to Rob.
True. Ooh. Yeah.
You can have spiders jumping on me all night as long as I don't have to sleep next to bitch ass Rob.
I agree.
I unexpectedly love Aaron.
I love him too, yeah.
He seems, we had like kind of a bad taste in our mouths at first because he was kind of like a little, came on really strong with Kaylor in the beginning. But he actually seems very in tune with his emotions and other people's. I love that he checked on Leah after her conversation with Rob. Like multiple people, obviously, like we said, Serena checked on her and was there for her. But I just thought it was so sweet. I think it's... the bar is so low for men that whenever they're kind to a woman that's not their partner, I'm like, wow, that's a good person. You know? And that's baffling because you would never think the same thing of a woman. But anyway.
No, I like Aaron a lot too, though. And I feel like he's kind of putting his foot down at an appropriate place too with Kaylor. Like I feel like he's been just like totally devoting all his time, putting all his eggs into her basket, and then she says that she's doing the same thing but then goes and does things that like doesn't line up with what she's saying. And I think she knows now that she wonked up, so I can't wait to watch tonight's episode because I hope they work
through it because I do actually like them as a couple a lot, but I think that he was right to put his foot down, and I think he did it respectfully. I think he still managed to be firm but also like not an asshole, like you know.
Rob, I think they may have been in soul ties at the time, I don't know, but Rob was talking to Liv, I think. Or
no, he's talking to the girl he's interested in. I forget the bombshell. I don't know the new ones' names because
Me neither.
I'm not really a fan of them yet. Maybe we will be, but so far I'm not really caring for either of the new ones.
I haven't. It's hard for me to tell because there's always like the girl code thing, but like also there's a lot of money on the line.
Well, and they're there to explore different partners and stuff. So it's like it's such a slippery. It's confusing.
Yeah, and I think when you come in too, you have to be more aggressive because you don't know all the relationships and stuff. Like you've seen it on TV, like what's happened up until that point, I think. But
you haven't built the relationships with those people, even though you've seen how things have played out. You didn't factor into it in those times. So but he's talking to the girl he's interested in, the blonde.
Yeah, and he says like, I don't know, he said something stupid and he's like, sorry, I haven't ejaculated in a while.
He's essentially blaming his outburst and his conversation with Leah, saying like, trying to excuse his behavior almost. Like, I haven't ejaculated in a while, so I'm acting like an ass hat. Like I'm
so toxic. Like,
I'm not buying it, sir.
Barf.
And the girl just is like, yeah, I get it. Like, and she's like still like starry-eyed over him, and I'm like,
red flag.
I am not saying it. Yeah, there are flags everywhere, babe. Actually, this whole villa is just a flag now. Right. Like, welcome to Flag Island. Like,
get out
it's
of
not
soul ties.
It is not. You are not in soul ties anymore. No. You are in red flag land. Okay, it is right past Candyland. It's not a good place. I didn't like when they, the moment was very dramatic when they asked the guys to go in front of the fire pit if they wanted to possibly pair up with the new girls. I did not like the energy from some of the people who were laughing when Rob got up and ditched Leah for the new girl. So the other new girl, the brunette, she was like very obviously laughing in their faces about it. But also Liv at first laughs. And she immediately like covers her mouth. But
okay. Yeah, I don't
just
love
not
that.
girl energy. Like that's it. If
that's
Rob and this girl, it doesn't serve anybody. If Rob and this girl have a connection and they end up together and they're happy, good for them. But the way they treated Leah is shit.
I don't like that. Okay.
Not
I don't think I caught on to that.
Yeah, and then the that recoupling at the end. Well, it's not necessarily recoupling because everybody doesn't recouple. It's just the new girls picking who they want to couple with.
Okay, yeah.
But it obviously gets pretty dramatic, and the new girl picks Rob, and they have this scene where they cut to the rest of the cast sitting around the fire pit, and Leah's like, I'm fine. And the girls are chiming in, and they're like, it doesn't even matter. Like, you're fine. Like, don't even, whatever. She's like, I'm fine. And then she like looks Rob dead in the eye, and she's like, fuck you.
Yes. I love that. Yeah.
Like, just immediately, she's like, you know what? And Kayla's like, say what you want to say. Like, just do it.
Love
Hell,
it.
Yes, that's the energy we're bringing into this situation.
And we all want to say it too, Leah. Like, we are with you.
Like, if we could collectively fuck you with you, Leah, we would, and we are. Simpatico.
Fuck you, Rob. Simpacito.
Simpacito.
Literally how I hear it every time.
Yes.
So our curated list this week, small annoyances, and you guys know how well we can curate a list of grievances.
Yes.
So this isn't
it's
like
one of our specialties, if you will. Honestly, we should probably just start calling, instead of lists, it should just be what's the grievance list this week? Like, what are we grieving?
What are we bitching about?
Yeah.
So this one is when you're not totally dry, but you have to get dressed, and like, say you're in someone else's home, so you can't just put your towel on and leave the bathroom. You have to get dressed in the bathroom. But the bathroom isn't dehumidifying enough.
Yes.
But you can't sit in here for another 20 minutes. You got to get to dinner or wherever you're going. So you have to pull those jeans on over your like kind of still moist. Skin. And
damp.
It's never a good time.
No.
It's so frustrating. I usually feel like I'm 20 pounds heavier than I really am.
Yeah. It's like trying to get dressed in the bathroom that's like at the public pool.
Yes, exactly.
Like, it's just like there's water everywhere for no reason.
You can't get dry.
Even in the places where you're like, this should be dry. It's not.
No. Hangers getting caught on each other when you're trying to get just one.
Oh. And sometimes it turns into quite a mess. Like, they just get really crazy.
Just bits of plastic flying everywhere because I start getting pissed off. I'm trying to yank them apart, then they're breaking. The seatbelt, when it gets stuck and it won't release, and then you can't unbuckle it too, and you're just like trapped in the
I can't.
Belt loop getting caught on the door handle.
Yeah, the short girls know.
Yes,
like it's just like right where your belt loop is at.
Right.
I added a similar sentiment because it's kind of the same motion. It's I can't be bothered if I'm on a phone call with somebody. I can't be bothered to hold my phone. I have to have my headphones in.
Right.
I'm not holding my phone. It's sitting down. I still use wired headphones, and every single time I'm cooking dinner, I am on the phone apparently. And every single time I rip my headphones out of my ears 35 times because they get caught on the pulls of the drawers.
Yeah.
We have like a thin bar
for your
what
handle.
ours look like. That's what the handles look like. And it is just the perfect hook for the fucking headphones to get stuck on. It's awful. And then it just feels like you've got whiplash because it just rips them out so aggressively. Like, you're just kind of like,
it hurts sometimes.
It hurts every time. It's not. And then it's always like, I'm sure the person on the other line like can hear the kerfuffle of me like trying to get my headphones plugged back in and put them back in my ears, and
they're like, why doesn't she just stop wearing the headphones? Because this is the 35th time.
It's not going to happen. I'm not going to hold my phone. I've got to be able to do other things. Okay.
True.
I am a multitasking queen. And even if it's just so I can scroll while I'm on the phone,
right.
I'm going to wear
Needed.
my headphones.
The amount of times we need to send each other things when we're talking, like,
Yeah.
you have to be able to scroll.
Yep.
Other small annoyances, tiny clockers. That will never leave the room.
I would say I beg to differ that this is a large annoyance.
True.
But
Okay.
but it shall be named on
But
this
they're
list.
tiny, so it's a small annoyance.
Oh my God. Get you some cheese. Wow. You
Lord.
went there.
Okay. When batteries die pretty much in anything. I have a couple examples here. Child's toy. Because then you always have to fucking screw it. You have to get a screwdriver. It's like, may as well just throw the toy away.
Yeah.
We don't need that
a new
anymore.
Toy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Computer mouse when the batteries die. That only happens like once a year. You're never expecting it.
Mine's chargeable, so it doesn't take batteries.
Nice.
It is until it dies in the middle of the day, and I'm like, well, I can't plug it in and use it at the same time because it plugs on the bottom of the fucking mouse.
Silly.
Mac, Apple. I have an Apple mouse, yeah.
Remotes, like TV remotes. I mean, pretty much all the batteries have been taken from the remotes anyway. So, like, when
we've just moved them around at this point.
Right.
Ours go between the remote and our walkie-talkies. It's like, that's the only thing.
Your walkie-talkies? You guys are using walkie-talkies?
We do have walkie-talkies. Okay, so the first time we experienced a hurricane when we bought the house, my husband broke out the walkie-talkies for the kids just because he thought it would be fun. And now anytime there's a hurricane, even if the power doesn't go out, we have to walkie-talkie.
Oh, fun. I love that.
It's just a given if there's a bad storm coming.
That's a great hurricane tradition.
Yeah,
I love that.
Always get out the walkie-talkies. And somebody always says something funny or weird over the walkie-talkie. There's fart jokes and,
good memories.
Yeah, it's very wholesome. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Last one on this list, when your vibrator runs out of batteries. That's never fun. You never expect that. You never plan for it.
And it's not the time to go searching for batteries.
Right. Also charge when it runs out of charge. Most of them are chargeable these days. We're over the batteries.
Same difference. Yeah.
Still.
Incredible.
Not great. Continuing. Small annoyances. Windows updates. Just
software
in general.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Updates.
Unsolicited updates.
I have PTSD for updates because in my line of work, you do the updates and then something breaks.
True.
That's just how it works. And I actually dealt with a situation recently where I work with WordPress, and one of the major vulnerabilities with WordPress websites is like out of date software, like plugins or themes that aren't updated is it can be a risk for security on your website. And we actually had somebody whose site like did get hacked and had some malware on it, and I was just shocked at how easy it was. Like, it was just one update that needed to happen that so anyway, just fuck updates.
Yeah, I'm update adverse.
Yeah. I want to go back to the future. I'd like to go backwards. I'm not trying to renew and get better. I'm trying to get worse, actually.
True.
If you will. The next one on the list, I don't know if this is a shared experience. So I'm going to throw it out and see how you react, and then I'll give context.
Okay.
Third-party marketing companies.
Yeah, I'm going to need the context.
Okay. I was
looking forward to getting the context.
Yeah. I feel like this is a very me situation. Okay, so I'll give you a good example. So in my line of work, it's not uncommon for us to work with someone's marketing company. So we'll have a client whose website we've built or who we have a project with. Typically, it's a website. And they will hire marketing companies, as you do. And we, in some ways, are a marketing company in some ways. So I know marketing has to happen. It just gives me like unhappy feelings. Okay. I just don't like it. And in this case, and this happens a lot, the marketing company will review the website of the client. And so we're basically sharing this client at this point. So we've built the website, and the marketing person looks at the website and says, your stuff isn't converting because you don't have X, or your stuff isn't converting because this form is loading really slowly, or something like that. They always have a reason.
Converting to clicks or something? Is that what
Right,
you're talking about?
right,
Okay.
because marketing is about, making money. So a lot of times they're looking at and tracking what happens when they're marketing. And so when things aren't going well, they have to circle back. Why is it the ad? Is it the, what's going on? And so a lot of times they'll evaluate the website as part of their expertise. And now I'm not going to say that they're wrong always.
But sometimes.
They do sometimes have valid points, but a lot of times it's just like, well, this person, their website was built like 8 years ago and they just have never touched it. And like, we're not going to proactively just be like, hey, you need to be doing. Anyway, it doesn't matter. So we'll get these people who have, they're CC'd in this email with our client. So you have to be professional, because it's not like, just you and them. Like, your client's there too and can see the interaction. And they sent me a list of things that they felt needed to be improved. And one of the things they were saying was that needed to be a button at the top of the page, no matter if the user's on desktop or mobile. There should always be a button so that the user can call. Okay. Now, that's not wrong. That's not wrong. They're not wrong. Okay. But they also stated that they tried to add the button themselves. Because a lot of times marketing companies have knowledge of websites and they know just enough to be dangerous and or to fuck something up unbelievably, which I have seen so many times. And I'm always just like, cool. So they had stated that they had tried to add the button themselves, but it kept disappearing after a few days. And I was like, that isn't right. That is simply not how it works. Like, there's not. It's like, right? Like, and you don't have any tech knowledge of websites, and you agree, right? Like, that's.
Button's like, I think I've done my job. Goodbye.
And I already have this. I know that as soon as a client CCs me with a marketing company, I am going to put up a wall. That's a me problem. I'm automatically going to be like, they're an asshole because of stuff like this. Because they rarely know what they're actually talking about. They just know a little bit. Right. And so I said, and in this situation, I don't try to guess what someone's saying, right? If someone says something confusing to me, I address it. And so I was like, yeah, I hear what you're saying. We can definitely add a button, but I'm more so concerned about the fact that you said you tried to add a button and it keeps disappearing after a few days.
And it runs away.
And that is not typical behavior. So can you send me a screenshot of where you're trying to add this button? Because I built the website. I'm looking at it and I'm like, I don't see anywhere where a button has been added that wasn't there before. But again, it disappears.
It's left, Amber. The button has left the room.
The button has gone away. Is the button in the room with us?
Not now.
And so they looked up example websites where there are buttons at the top of the page. And they sent me pictures of that, like several different websites where there were buttons at the top of the page. And they were like, you see here. And they basically mansplained to me what a button is. Like, explain to me what the button is. And so I went back and read my email again. And I was like, did I seem to not know what a button was? Like, did I give any indication that I might not understand what a button is? Like, was I confusing? Because there are times where I'll send an email and then I'll be like, that is so much more confusing than I meant it. Right. And I'll be the first to acknowledge that. But no, it was clear as day. It's like, can you send me a picture of where you added the button on the site? That was my exact question. And they sent me examples
of what the button is on the site.
And there are buttons on the site. So it's like they could have just sent me a picture of a button on this specific website that we're talking about. I'm like, I think I discovered your problem. You're not on the right website. Whose site is this? Of course it's disappearing. So, and again, I have to respond in a professional way. I can't respond like I would text you and Birdie and be like, what the fuck did you just say to me? Which is what I'm thinking. And so I gathered myself, and I was actually with my boss when I saw the email come through, and I was like, oh, I hate marketing companies. And I explained like what happened, and he was like, just get them on the phone. Like, just, it will cut down the confusion. And I was just like, I don't think it will in this case. And so
it depends. Does the phone have any buttons?
Well, see, there are different buttons than ones you would find on a website. So I'm afraid we might find ourselves in a more confusing situation than the one that we started in, which is quite crazy. But yeah, I was like, I'm going to give myself an hour before I respond to this. Because if I respond to it now,
Fair.
It's going to come out as, what the fuck did you just say to me?
Right.
And I simply cannot say that to my client. And so I very kindly was like, thank you for that. That was something. Thank you for those screenshots. But can you send me? So then I had to circle back, and I was like, you mentioned that you were already tried to add a button. Where did you try to add the button? Which button? Can you? Are we getting it? You know what a screenshot is. You sent me screenshots. You know?
You should have started, per your last email, I would like to acknowledge my knowledge of a button.
Right. I recognize what a button is. Simply, I am asking where you tried to put it. Like, I just don't know how I could possibly be any more clear. And the thing is, sometimes, people are really fast in their responses via email. And this was one of those mornings where they were responding quickly. So I kind of just thought, when I sent my email clarifying that I still was not sure where they were trying to put this button, that they would respond back quickly, but they didn't. So that leads me to believe that they are still confused.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So we will have to see.
Did you get him on the phone?
I did not, but I will probably have to.
Damn.
Ultimately.
Yeah.
Yes. The only reason I didn't today is I don't even know who they are. Like, I don't know. I would have to ask them for their phone number.
Right.
In order to get in contact with them because it's not in their email signature. And again, it's a third party marketing company, which means it's not affiliated with my business whatsoever.
Right. They're not even your client. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's always interesting to see how they'll get introduced to you. Sometimes people will just say, like, they'll just let you know they hired a marketing company, but you'll never hear from them. Mm-hmm. And then other times you'll work really closely with them. But it's interesting because I am my client's advocate first. So it's way too much information, but I hate third-party marketing companies.
Yeah, no, I do too now. Yeah, that was a good one.
Great. I'm glad I brought you in with me on that hatred. That's
yeah,
fair.
No, fuck them.
Mm-hmm.
When you realize you're out of creamer after you've made the cup of coffee. Yeah. You know what I mean.
That's a really disappointing thing. Today, it is. I realized I was out of creamer before I made the coffee. Oh. And this was actually a tiny pleasure because I said, oh, there's no cream. I have to go to Starbucks to get coffee.
Wow, we have some joy.
They're small. But yeah. There's little sprinkles sometimes of joy.
Kind of feeding off that same one. When there's empty containers in the refrigerator. Like someone put it's like you look around for all the sandwich ingredients before you make the sandwich, right? You're like, mustard, check, turkey, check, cheese, check. Okay. Going to put it together, grab the mustard. Most of the ingredients are already on here.
And there's no mustard.
Squeeze some mustard and there is none? Mm-mm. Which monster that is in my home?
An absolute sociopath.
Put this back in the fridge like that.
Yeah. Absolutely. Mm-hmm. My kids do this a lot.
Jerks.
They do this a lot.
Love them.
Or they'll
love them.
They'll also my youngest really does not like telling people he doesn't like something. So if you get him a milkshake and he doesn't like it, he won't tell you. He will drink it until you're not around. And then he'll do something like put it in the fridge where it will never be touched again. Like it's just going to melt into
It
like
just
this
rots.
weird consistency and can never be consumed. Yeah.
When you're clicking something at the top of your phone screen, like you're going to get, for instance, your Instagram chats, you know, they're in that top right corner. You go to click on that, but a notification comes through from another app right as you're going to click on it, and it brings you to the other app.
Yeah.
The amount of times that this happens to me
all the time.
It's often enough to where every time I'm like, again?
It's like, I didn't consent to this.
No.
Like, I wasn't choosing that.
We may have.
Well, it's questionable. I didn't give my phone permission to switch apps necessarily.
True. Well, maybe I don't read the Apple terms personally. I have no idea what's in there. They could surprise me in 20 years and say that I've donated my body to science while I'm alive, and I would have like, no idea.
Okay,
so story time. We haven't done a story time episode in a while. Have you ever had to get drug tested when you weren't necessarily prepared to test clean? So one of the funnier times, it seems like there was always something that like went wrong in the process.
Yes.
But one of the funnier times, so I had a friend who was clean pee into a condom.
Oh my God.
And then you tie the condom up and you store it in between your legs because you have to keep it
at body temperature.
Right. And then I'm like, well, how am I going to open it when I get in there, right? So I brought a little staple, too, that I unfolded and then, like, kind of sewed into my underwear.
The craftsmanship.
Right. This is well thought out, right?
Yeah.
Or so I thought. So then I get there. I get into the restroom. My plan is going flawlessly. I poke a little hole into the condom. The thing is, though, it's a very tiny hole that a staple pokes into a condom. So it's very
takes 18 years.
It's very slowly coming out. I'm like, this isn't even going to be body temperature anymore by the time all of this comes out. So I'm freaking out, right?
Oh my God.
As anyone is when they're faking a drug test. And I'm only faking for marijuana as well.
Right.
So anyway, so it's taking forever to come out. Finally it comes out, right? And I'm panicking. I'm like, all right, I need to get out of here. I'm like, what am I going to do like with the I can't throw them in the trash can. They probably check the trash cans, I was thinking. Right. So I'm like, I'll throw it in the toilet and then flush it. Throw it in the toilet. And by the way, I have peed. Did I pee? I think I may have peed in the toilet too. Throw it in there
because you got to make it sound real,
right? And
to anyone who's out the door listening,
right? Exactly. And as I'm throwing it in there, I'm like, huh, weird. The water's blue, and I'm like, well, it's probably some like cleaning solution or something, you know. I finished peeing, wipe, go to flush the toilet. Nope, toilet doesn't flush. Toilet doesn't flush in this one. Now, I have been to other ones before this. The toilets did flush in those ones. So this is like, whoa.
Kind of was counting on the toilet flushing here.
This is throwing me for a loop, right? Not only do I need to reach into here and grab the condom out that had someone else's urine in there with my urine all mixed around it, I have to find the tiny fucking staple that I threw in there as well. And I'm still on the clock.
Oh my
right?
God.
Like, if you're in there for too long, I imagine they probably it's like, oh, I had to poop too, but there's no poop in there.
They're like, we're gonna need proof.
Right? So I do it. I'm like, I reach in, right? I grab it, find the staple, which I had to kind of keep my hand in there a little bit longer. Trying to find a
fucking staple
in a toilet. Ugh, yuck. How many people have peed in that? Anyways, so pull it out, right? And I put the stuff in my hoodie. I had a hoodie pocket on, and I think I I actually put it back like in my pants, but not in my underwear.
Yeah.
And then I go to wash my hands, and as I'm going to wash my hands, I look at my hand that I had reached in with, and the hand is blue. So the toilet water was blue so that it would dye your hand if you reach into the water to get anything out, right? So now I'm like,
It's as if they've prepared for this exact scenario.
and I thought I was well prepared.
Right.
And I've done
You
this
brought a
before.
fucking staple.
I have done this before. None of this had ever happened before.
A series of unfortunate events.
So I'm like, whatever, I'll wash it off, right? Go to put soap on my hands. There was soap. Go to turn on the water. Nope. No, there's no water at all to the restroom. You can't even wash your hands. So
what kind of place is this?
Right. So I have a hoodie on. I put my right hand in my hoodie pocket.
Your blue hand?
My blue hand in my hoodie pocket. I grab with my left hand my sample, which I'm like kind of cupping, holding to my chest tight to warm it up a little before I go out there. And I carry it out there, and I keep my hoodie in my pocket, and they're like, the sink's right there if you want to wash your hands. I was like, I'm okay. And I still have soap on my hands too that I wasn't able to wash off, right? I'm like, I'm okay.
Oh my God.
And I was sure that they were going to ask me to like see my hands, especially when I'm like, no, I don't need to wash.
Yes. This reminds me of my mushroom story. When I had paint all over me, I'm like, they're going to see it. No, they're going to know.
Right.
Oh my God.
And I sat there, and she's like taking the temperature, and she's like, she looks at me, she's like, okay. And I'm like, oh, I'm good to go. And I'm like probably sweating, like almost crying at this point. And she's like, yeah, you're good to go. And I walked out there, and I made it, and I passed.
That is the best story I have ever heard. As soon as you started talking about the like toilet water being blue, I was like, oh my God, I know where this is going. Like, this is so painful. Oh God.
Yeah. And I didn't. That's the funny thing. I should have, because I noted it. You know, I looked at it, I saw it, and I said,
blue water.
That's strange. And I said, but who cares?
I'm going to dig around for that staple.
Oh my God. I was so stressed.
That's hilarious.
And I think it was for like a seasonal like Sam's Club job or something.
It's not like the career of your dreams, or even like it's like,
no, I would have been fine, honestly, if I didn't get the
right.
job.
Right. And oh God.
But stressful, yeah. But heroic. Like, I
absolutely
really displays my like critical thinking skills.
Yeah.
Thank God for standardized testing.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Saved
Women
our
in
lives,
STEM.
obviously.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
All right.
Follow us on Instagram at Out of Touch PCast. Follow us on TikTok at Out of Touch Moments. And send us an email at outoftouchcast@gmail.com.
She hesitated.
Boom.
Bye.
Because it says gmail.outoftouchvast. And I every time I have to note there's a typo. My brain just can't help it.